On July 15th of 1997, Gianni Versace was returning from the News Cafe restaurant to his Miami Beach mansion, Casa Casarina, on Ocean Drive. He had just picked up his regular coffee and paper, as he did nearly on a daily basis. As he was unlocking the gate around 8:45 to 9 a.m., a man approached him from behind and shot him twice, one in the back of the head and once in the left cheek, point blank range. Versace was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital but died shortly after.
Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden.
Yeah, I'll do the whole fucking story and then, like, oh, I didn't press record.
That is a very today thing. Is Mercury in retrograde, Amanda? Because it feels like it is.
I think something's in retrograde. I think my whole life's in retrograde, quite
Uranus
frankly.
is in retrograde.
It is in retrograde. Oh, remind me that at the end of the story, I got to talk about my ancestry.com. I got back my results this week. And
Okay.
so remind me to talk about that, because I will forget to talk about it by the time I'm done.
At least you didn't forget to press record. This one's fun. This is like the most planned episode we've done. If not just from the perspective of I came out to Miami to shoot with you.
Right.
We went to Versace Mansion, which we'll
That
talk
is
about
true.
at some point.
Yes.
And we went to News Cafe.
Yes, we did.
Like we knew this story. Usually you and I don't share in advance with each other because we like to maintain like some level of surprise. But this one we knew and planned for.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about it is I was excited to do it because I remember all of this happening. I was in my early 20s when this happened. And so I vividly remember it happening, but I don't remember didn't remember all of the details about it. So it was a nice refresher to get into. And because everything happened, like I said, at his mansion on Ocean Drive, which we, of course, visited, as you said. If anyone has been to Ocean Drive and or has seen the mansion, has seen where News Cafe is, that sort of thing, it's such an open space, in the city of Miami Beach, that it's quite crazy that this all happened, so quickly in that area, right in front of his home. So I'm excited to tell the story.
Well, before you do,
Yes.
let me just cough. Well, let me introduce us. Give me a second because I have to find all the things now. I could have planned ahead, but listen.
Some of us have jobs during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
To fund this madness.
Yes.
Because you're not funding us, listeners.
Thanks a lot. Just kidding. We love you.
We love you.
Okay. Well, first of all, welcome to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the disgusting, the dark, and the disgraceful in our sometimes unmentionables. We're a little dressed up today. Wait, where do I go from here? I interrupted. The dark, disgusting, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. Yes, we have slipped into something, well, today, not so much, less comfortable. But we hope that you are in your underwear, listener, and also having a glass. I'm Blake Roberts.
And I'm Amanda Kamada.
And this is Forbidden. And this, wait, I already said that. This is such a cluster of a day. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
So, Amanda, in the world of high fashion, appearances are everything. But behind the glamour lies a darker thread. This is our limited series, Crimes of Fashion, where we'll be uncovering the secrets, scandals, and schemes woven into the fabric of the style industry. What are you
Well,
wearing and what are you drinking?
I am wearing Versace this evening. I don't know if you can tell, but
I
I
can, yeah.
have a Versace bodysuit on. Usually I am in my Natori bra and underwear, but today I would be remiss not to put on Versace for this episode. And so I am wearing Versace and I am drinking a nowadays THC cocktail in a very large can because that's the type of day that it's been. How about you?
I had a very large glass and I've already plowed right through it.
Oh,
I am drinking whatever white wine I had open and I do not recall. And I am dressed like an 80s teen movie villain today. I'm wearing
awesome.
this tennis sweater from Mr. Turk, and below the fold, I am wearing swim briefs that you cannot see because I will be returning to the pool after this recording.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome, Blake, and thank you for showing up tonight. I know that we've both had one hell of a day.
Yeah,
Before I get started, I will go ahead and name my sources for this evening. My sources are Wikipedia, Time Magazine, People Magazine, and History.com.
nice.
So, hours after Versace's shooting death, authorities identified Andrew Cunanan as the prime suspect. The 27-year-old was on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list after the killing, suspected in the killings of not only Versace, but four other people in Minnesota, Illinois, and New Jersey. The FBI painted Cunanan as a highly intelligent and dangerous man who desired a life of luxury. The California native who could speak two languages. Now, at first I thought, oh, that's cool. But then I'm like, if you're from California, you probably speak Spanish and English, like, so is two languages really? I mean, I only speak one language, but I'm like, is it that profound that he spoke two languages?
Yeah, like your point is, he's maybe not that special.
Exactly, because he also dropped out of college. No shame in that game. But he funded his lifestyle thanks to relationships with older, wealthier gay men, federal
That's what I'm trying to
investigators
do.
found. Now, keep with me for a moment. The FBI also believes that in addition to working odd jobs, he was also a prostitute. Now, I don't like Andrew Cunanan because of what he did to Gianni Versace, and obviously these other gentlemen that he killed along the way, which we will get into. But there ain't nothing wrong with having a daddy.
Right, and I don't think there's anything wrong with sex work. So
And I don't think there's anything wrong with sex work myself. So, but that's just a little bit about him. We'll get more into him in a moment. But first, let's talk a little bit about Gianni Versace. Gianni Versace was an iconic Italian fashion designer and the founder of the luxury fashion house Versace. A little overview: he was born Giovanni Maria Versace on December 2nd, 1946, in Reggio Calabria, Italy. He was a fashion designer and entrepreneur, and he actually founded Versace in 1978. I did not know that Versace was founded in 1978. I thought it was more like mid to late 80s, but perhaps that's when he started really popping off.
I thought it was 80s too. Also, I just learned from another podcast, and I can't remember which one I was listening to, but Calabria is the very tip of the boot,
Mm,
and it used to be a really poor
mm-hmm.
part of, and very like mob run part of Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, fun fact.
Interesting. Very interesting. So Versace was known for his bold, glamorous designs combining luxury, sexuality, and theatrical flair. He made iconic use of Baroque prints, gold detailing, as you can see me wearing, the Medusa logo in bright and vibrant colors. He dressed celebrities like Madonna, Princess Diana, Elton John, Naomi Campbell, and helped define the supermodel era of the 1990s, championed by models like Cindy Crawford, Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell, Helena Christensen, my
Your
dog's
fave.
namesake.
Mhm.
And I loved that time in the modeling world.
Yeah.
That, time was so real, and like these models were real and raw, and they weren't these nepo baby models that you see out there these days modeling in these same catwalks, and that sort of thing. So I really love that he had a hand in, he and George Michael, of course, in making these women literally household names,
Yeah.
as models, as fashion models, and true runway models. The Versace brand expanded beyond clothing into accessories, fragrances, home furnishings, and hotels. It's known for merging pop culture and couture, one of the first to do so. And his sister Donatella Versace actually took over as creative director of Versace after his death.
Love her.
I absolutely love Donatella Versace. I
Mhm.
think she's fabulous.
Yes.
Yes. Obviously, he was murdered on July 15th of 1997. He was only 50 years old when that happened. And
Yeah.
the closer that I get to 50 years old, and I'm a little closer than I'd like to admit, listeners, I just realized how young that is. Like, I guess because I was in my 20s, I thought that he was a little bit older than that, but he was only 50 years old. His death shocked the fashion world and was the subject of books and TV series, including the assassination of Gianni Versace on FX in 2018. So that is a little bit about Gianni Versace, but let's talk a little bit about Andrew Cunanan. Cunanan was an American spree killer, best known for murdering fashion designer Versace in 1997. His crime shocked the nation and ended one of the most high profile manhunts of the 1990s. So he was born Andrew Philip Cunanan on August 31st, 1969, in National City, California. And he died on July 23rd of 1997 in Miami Beach when he was 27 years old. So he was about 25 years younger than Gianni Versace. He was raised in California by a Filipino mother and Italian American mother. Maybe he spoke Filipino. Maybe that's what he spoke.
Hmm.
Um, it said he was highly intelligent. He reportedly had an IQ of over 140. I don't know what that means. I must have a low IQ because I don't
Wait,
know what having a high IQ means.
his mother was Italian slash Filipino?
Italian American, and his father was Filipino.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
hmm
Cool.
He supposedly had a very high IQ, was very charismatic and manipulative. He lived a lavish lifestyle funded by wealthy, often older lovers, which again, I see nothing wrong with.
No, in fact, I am here for it.
Yeah, I would love to know how he did this because I really need to know how to rope one in myself.
Yeah.
And he was known for reinventing his identity and lying about his background. So, interesting guy. It sounds like that he sort of lived a fantasy in sort of a fantasy world where he lived like this lavish lifestyle through other people, often reinventing himself in his personas and stuff like that. But he went on this murder spree in 1997. So the murder spree happened between April and July of 1997, and Versace was actually the last man that he murdered. But he did murder 5 men. One of them's name was Jeffrey Trail. He was a former naval officer and a friend, and he murdered him in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The second man that he murdered was David Madsen, who was an ex-boyfriend of his and a Minneapolis architect. The third was Lee Miglin. He was a wealthy Chicago real estate developer. He was suspected of knowing Cunanan, but not confirmed to have known him. So maybe they had sexual relations or something like that in passing, and he ended up dead. He also murdered William Reese, who was a New Jersey cemetery caretaker, and he actually killed him for his truck. because he needed a truck to get around in and continue his trip down to Miami, where
Mhm.
he finally shot Gianni Versace outside of his mansion on Miami Beach on July 15th of 1997. As I said before, after Versace's murder, he was put and placed within hours on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. He hid out for a week on a houseboat in Miami Beach, about 2 miles away from their Versace mansion. And on July 23rd of 1997, so roughly 13 days or so after he murdered Gianni Versace, he was found dead by suicide of a self-inflicted gunshot wound on the same houseboat that he had been hiding out in.
Mhm.
So he's South Beach, if you don't know, listeners, like you very much well know, is, has a very large gay community here. So I think he kind of, wove himself into the gay community for that 13 days and sort of hid out, while he was hiding on this houseboat. And the motive of him killing, just in general, has always been a little bit unclear because he left no suicide note. And there was no known connection between he and Versace, though rumors suggested he may have briefly crossed paths with him in the past. Theories range from personal rejection to delusions of fame or power or mental health struggles, possibly linked to his narcissistic and antisocial traits. Um, the federal investigators, though, believe that he may have been targeting gay men and seeking revenge on former lovers or clients who may have given him HIV.
Oh.
So that was something that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that he was possibly HIV positive and that he may have been, targeting these people that he had former relationships with. But Versace actually had a longtime boyfriend, Antonio de Amico, but that doesn't mean that he didn't meet Cunanan in passing, and or who knows if they had any sort of interaction with each other before this all happened. It was very well known, obviously, that Versace lived at Casa Casarino, on Ocean Drive. So it wasn't that difficult for him to find him and to kill him out in the open. Cunanan was actually portrayed by Darren Criss in the assassination of Gianni Versace American Crime Story in 2018. And Chris won an Emmy and Golden Globe for his role in that series. I actually never watched that. Did you? But I've
I,
heard it's really good.
I didn't even know about it, but Darren Chris is cute. At least he was. I don't know what he looks like now.
He's very cute. And I really love Darren Criss because I think that I know he's married to a woman, but he's very fluid, obviously, in his dress and his sexuality and stuff like that, because that man is not afraid to wear like like a Christian Siriano dress on the red carpet with, like a tux top or something like that. He was in kinky boots, and, he just is I think he was in Glee too, that show Glee. I never really watched that.
I I know. I watched the first season when it came out. Wasn't that a Ryan Murphy production, Glee?
That is true. And American Horror Story, I believe, is too.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But Glee, I remember thinking the first one was interesting, the first episode, and then that song became like a hit again, that Don't Stop Believing.
Hmm.
And I used to like that song, and then I hated it.
Yeah.
So sick of that song.
Yeah.
And so I blame Glee for that. So anyway, I got real tired. Just got old for me. Like the
Yeah.
concept of Glee got old for me really quick.
Yeah.
But I digress.
So yeah, listeners, like definitely check out. I believe you can see the miniseries now on Netflix. So I think I'm definitely going to check that out. And by the way, I did listen or watch the Poop Cruise on Netflix, but I digress, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So, Gianni Versace's funeral was a major international event that drew together the fashion elite, celebrities, and dignitaries to honor one of the most influential designers of the 20th century. His funeral was held on July 22nd of 1997, so about a week after his murder, in the Milan Cathedral, or Duomo di Milano, in Milan, Italy. There were over 2,000 people in attendance at his funeral, including world leaders, celebrities, royalty, and fashion industry giants. And it was covered globally and broadcast, an event of both fashion and news significance. Some notable attendees at his funeral, which I found to be very haunting and sad at the same time. But one of the attendees was Princess Diana. She was one of his closest friends, and she died just over a month after his funeral.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can, and Elton John was there, and you could see Princess Diana. I remember this, Princess Diana comforting Elton John, because Elton John was so distraught that he really couldn't even perform at his funeral. But he did, if you remember, perform at Princess Diana's funeral. And it's so haunting to know that she was sitting here at this huge funeral, not knowing that she was going to be dead a little over a month later, and having her own international funeral as well. Another person that was there that is a little haunting is Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. She was at the funeral, and she died nearly 2 years later in a plane crash. Other attendees included, obviously, Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, Anna Wintour, Karl Lagerfeld, Sting, Luciano Pavarotti, his sister, who obviously took over the Versace brand, and his brother Santo Versace, who was his brother and business partner. It was a highly emotional service. And his ashes were later interred at the Versace family estate near Lake Como, Italy. Donatella wore black lace to the funeral and held her daughter Allegra's hand during the service. And her daughter Allegra inherited 50% of the Versace empire. So he didn't have any children of his own, so he left 50% of the Versace empire to his very lucky niece. Post mortem, the Versace brand underwent significant changes after his murder, both creatively and structurally. I mean, if you can imagine having this major brand who's in like the height, of its success, and then your founding, member is murdered, it kind of threw them into a tailspin, because they faced deep grief, obviously, from this uncertainty and the pressure of preserving that global fashion empire, while also evolving to survive without the visionary founder. The leadership transition. So from the late 90s to the early 2000s, Donatella, as I said before, became the creative director, and did, by the way, a fabulous job of carrying on his vision.
Totally.
Her style was similar, a little less baroque, slightly softer, a bit more feminine. And critics, they said, were initially kind of skeptical about her running the company as creative director, but she slowly won respect, while presenting her own vision, but preserving the legacy that he had built. His brother Santo became the CEO of the company. And like I said, his Donatella's daughter Allegra inherited 50% of the company when she was 11 years old. So I don't know that she ever really did much with it, other than get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they Early 2000s were a little bit rocky for the Versace brand, but they brought in outside managers and investors. They focused on streamlining operations, expanding accessories, fragrances, and licensing deals, and increased their investments smartly in e-commerce and global retail, especially in Asia. They really set the tone for, growing even more internationally and especially in Asia. And so in the 2010s, Donatella started hitting her stride a little more with blending a modern edge with the Versace DNA. And she had an iconic moment like the 2018 spring tribute show where she reunited 1990 supermodels Naomi, Cindy, Claudia, Carla, and Helena, and celebrated Gianni's legacy and marked a turning point in brand confidence. Now, I didn't realize this, but they were acquired by Michael Kors in 2018. It's called Capri Holdings
Uh-huh.
for $2.12 billion.
And
Um,
then
and then, weren't they recently acquired again?
by Prada.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't even know if the deal has gone through, but it's I think it's
It's
happening right
it's in
now.
the works right now.
Yeah.
But today, under Donatello's leadership, which is amazing, they've embraced younger audiences, LGBTQ plus advocacy, and inclusive casting. They collaborated with Dua Lipa. They've collaborated with Fendi. They've collaborated with H&M. Now they're being supposedly bought out by Prada, and they're balancing their bold prints with sleek tailoring and red carpet dominance. Um, so ultimately, it reasserted itself as one of fashion's most powerful and recognizable names to this day, thanks to Donatella's leadership, and will, in my opinion, continue to do so under like Prada if they do. If the merge is approved and goes through. But that is the story of the murder of Gianni Versace.
Yeah, that was interesting. I remembered bits and pieces. The only thing that I really remembered outside of just the assassination was the theft of the truck. I remember that because it was just always sort of a weird detail.
Wasn't it like a red pickup truck or something like that? I think.
I don't even recall what it looked. I just remember like the what did you call it? The like the groundskeeper from the cemetery.
Oh, yeah, the caretaker.
Caretaker. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I just remember thinking that was weird.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was weird, like that he went from like California to Minneapolis to Illinois to New Jersey to Florida, for these five different killings. Like, I'm surprised that he didn't kill anyone in California, because he lived there. It just seems like really interesting to me. And I remember when this happened, Andrew Cunanan was actually a very handsome man,
Hmm.
very handsome man. Um, but today the Casa Arena is now still there. It has been purchased, I think, two different times by different corporations. It's now run as a hotel and restaurant, and it's called the Villas at Casa Arena, and everyone just refers to it still though as the Versace mansion. The Versace family has absolutely nothing to do with the mansion anymore, but you would never know it by walking into the place. And obviously by visiting there, and we had a lovely lunch while you were here. And it is absolutely beautiful. I would highly recommend anyone go there if you're visiting Miami, because you literally walk through the gate where he was shot whenever you walk into the hotel and restaurant, which is a little bit haunting. And I don't know about you, but I've been there now 4 times. I'm about to go my 5th time next week because my sister is coming into town, and so I'm gonna take her for, lunch, to the Versace mansion, and I just find it so hard to believe that that was actually somebody's home. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and there were, we had the lunch, and they had, I don't know if they were models or if they were just guests, but they were
Very
there were
hot.
younger men there wearing Versace swim briefs and just lounging around. They were in the pool, they were lounging. I wasn't sure what to make of that.
I wasn't sure what to make of it either because I don't recall anyone being there before. So if that may be something new, maybe they're trying to create the ambiance of what they think it would have been like if you were still there. Because if I were a rich ass gay man or straight woman or bisexual or whatever, I would be having uh, scantily clad men in Speedos at my home at all times as well.
Sure.
So maybe they're trying to recreate what they thought it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And the news cafe, which was where he used to go every day to get his newspaper and coffee. I mean, they said he was basically there like clockwork every day, picking up a newspaper, picking up his coffee, just a few blocks down from his home. The restaurant is still there. It was actually closed for a while. I think it closed during COVID for a little bit, and then they reopened it. But it's definitely also worth a trip if you are in the Miami Beach area because it's just a few blocks down. They serve really good food, nice cocktails.
Mhm.
There's a nice 90s vibe in there. Like I feel like they've done a really good job of keeping, the influence of fashion, stuff like that through photography, photographs on the wall and just the overall look and feel. They really leaned into, Versace being one of their, most prolific and famous patrons who I'm sure they miss very much.
Yeah, it felt a little more pub than cafe to me.
Mhm.
Like, I
Mhm.
mean, there's a bar
Right.
inside,
Right.
um, but like open air. It was lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember this being so sad whenever it happened and so stunning, because you just think he was in his prime, when this happened, like
Mhm.
really in his prime when his life was cut short. And you just wonder why this guy picked, him.
Yeah, it's the most frustrating part of the story. I mean, obviously, because it's solved but unsolved. Like,
Mhm.
the why is not answered.
Right.
So frustrating.
Yeah, very, very frustrating. And
Hmm.
yeah, you just wonder, like, did they see each other in passing at a restaurant or something here? Like how like I said, everybody knew that that was where Versace lived. I mean, he lived out like truly in the open in South Beach. I mean,
Mhm.
there are gates and stuff around the home, but I mean, it's literally a mansion amongst a host of boutique hotels, and on a very, very busy road, Ocean Drive, where there are bars and restaurants and everything, which I thought it was so cool that he lived amongst all of that when so many people choose to actually live, in these gated communities where nobody can ever see where they live and stuff like that. But it was part of his demise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may have said it, or maybe you didn't. I didn't catch it. But how did he shoot all of his victims?
I
Do you
believe so. That's what it sounded like, that they were all shot, and he ended up shooting himself as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
What a bummer of a story.
I know.
But at
I
least it
know.
ended with Donatella.
I love her. I think that she's fantastic, and I'm I'm so happy for her that she was able to keep the brand and elevate the brand, from where he left it, because I can't imagine like filling those shoes, and it's her brother, so she's wanting to preserve his legacy. And just I actually follow her on Instagram. I don't know if you do, but she mentions him often, and so you can tell that the hurt and the raw feelings and stuff of his death have really, they never go away. I mean, this happened in 1997. That's almost 30 fucking years ago. Like, he would
So
be like
crazy.
almost 80 years old now, which is
So
absolutely
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
God, we're old.
Oh God, I know. Oh, but anyway, so yeah, that's the story of Gianni Versace. Or
Well, thank
not
you.
the whole story, but I'm sure there are more things about his childhood that I could have talked about and that sort of thing, but I covered it pretty well.
Yeah, we got the juicy bits, we got the aftermath, and we got Donatella.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Hmm. What else shall we talk about this evening?
Yep. There was something I was supposed to remind you about.
Yes,
Oh, ancestry. Tell me
ancestry.com.
about your DNA.
Well, let's just say this, Blake. I am whiter than white.
I'm shocked.
It is hysterical. And you're going to love this because
Translucent.
I pretty much I should be at this point, because I am, oh my God, hold on. I'm having some issues here. So I am, and Susan even said, she was like, well, no wonder you love the Brits so much. I am 61% from England and Northwestern Europe, 29% from Germanic Europe, so Germany, 6% Scotland, 2% Norway, and 2%, if you can believe this one, Iceland.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah, Iceland. So that's it. This girl is white. And I think that, like, what shocked me is that all of my life I was told that I was part Native American, like all of my fucking life.
We all were told that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
And
Arkansas and Oklahoma, everyone said that.
yeah. And guess what? I am 0% Native American. So yeah, I kind of like the Iceland thing though. But I
Hmm.
did I did look up some of my English roots. Now, you very well know that I am an Anglophile, and that I am, just I find the Brits to be quite fetching
I was going to
and
say erotic.
in many ways. Pretty much every band that I listen to is from the UK. Like, it's like super fan here, and I get it honestly through my DNA.
Hmm.
Yes. Have you ever done one of these tests?
I haven't, but my family has. And the ones that stood out to me was we were always told Cherokee, no Cherokee. Maybe Creek Indian. There's some of that. But the one that surprised me most is Congo.
Oh, really?
Just a little. Amanda, I'm 50% from the Congo. Can't you tell?
Yeah, I can tell.
It's all below the waist. No, but there is some percentage.
It's interesting. I looked up some of the areas. I started following one part of my family tree a little bit, and um, one of, like, so some parts of England that they came from, and Wales, like Cardiff, Wales. There was Sussex, England, Essex, England. Um, just places that I had never heard of. But what I'd really like to do is I'd like to find some of these places in England and just kind of go and see what it's like. But I think England is probably a lot the same, you know, no matter where you go, because the country itself is not that big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we have traversed the globe this evening.
we
We have
have.
been to Miami, we've been to Italy, to Iceland and the UK, to the Congo, and here we are, and I'm in Phoenix.
And I'm back in
Right.
Miami.
Yeah. Versace adjacent.
Exactly.
Well, where can people do all the things?
Oh gosh, are you going to make me tell everyone? They
Wait,
can,
I'll do part and then you do part.
okay.
Well,
Well, you can find us on or continue listening to us and or watching us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple for podcasters at theforbiddenpod.com. You can follow us on Facebook, TikTok sometimes, and Instagram at
Instagram.
the Forbidden Pod.
Mhm.
You can write to us. You can send us your dick pics, all the things at hello at theforbiddenpod.com. And you can look forward to some revisions on our website when I get to them at www.theforbiddenpod.com, which I need to still talk to you about because I feel like we talked about this a couple weeks ago and then I haven't said anything else about it.
Yeah,
Did I cover everything?
you did. And I will just add, if you've made it this far into the episode, rate, review, and subscribe. Give us
Yes.
5 stars, give us thumbs up, share with your friend. The
And
one, that
listen
one friend.
and listen to our other crime of fashion that Blake did last week. It's doing very well on YouTube and it's had like a great response. So definitely give that a whirl.
Yeah, it was, what did I do? Oh, it was about like knockoffs and counterfeit culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, thanks again.
Blake, thank you for sitting through that sad story. None of our stories are really uplifting. So I'm sorry if we can't be as happy as everyone would like us to be, but we definitely try to bring some sort of brevity to these really dark subjects.
Mhm.
So, listeners, as always, we thank
Thank you.
you. Versace.